everything is okay and that his intentions are actually, good. But in the back of my mind, I still have.
Everything TLC is showing you is an absolute lie. If you thought you knew the real reason Sumit is suddenly so desperate to get to America, you are dead wrong. We just got our hands on a massive leak, and it changes everything. Imagine an overdue bank notice flashing right in front of your eyes, stamped with a warning that could put someone behind bars. That is the reality Sumit is facing right now. 90-day family. Grab your tea, sit down, and buckle up. Because today, we are completely resetting everything you thought you knew about Sumit and Jenny. The truth is so much darker than a disapproving mother or a messy divorce. Before I expose this massive $40,000 secret and what it really means for Jenny's safety, I need you to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now to join our reality squad and never miss an update. Now that you are subscribed, let us dive straight into the deep end of this absolute financial bombshell. For years, we have watched Sumit and Jenny navigate what TLC wants us to believe is a modern-day Romeo and Juliet story, complete with interfering parents, cultural clashes, and endless dramatic ultimatums. But what if the entire narrative is just a smokescreen? What if the real villain in this story isn't Sumit's mother, Sadhna, but Sumit's own hidden financial crimes? Recently, a very disturbing piece of news started circulating online. I got this video and these exclusive theories from a viral TikTok and a very credible Instagram social platform source, and it is blowing the lid off everything we have seen on the show. According to these insider leaks, Sumit is hiding a devastating secret from Jenny, the producers, and the world. He is allegedly drowning in a massive $40,000 secret loan in India, and he is actively refusing to pay it back. We are not just talking about a couple of missed credit card payments or a small personal loan between friends. We are talking about deliberate, calculated debt evasion. Debt evasion on this scale is incredibly serious, and it paints a terrifying new picture of exactly why Sumit is acting the way he is. Think about it. $40,000 is a life-changing amount of money, especially when converted into Indian rupees. It is an astronomical debt that could absolutely ruin someone's life, and according to these leaks, the walls are rapidly closing in on him. The banks are done sending polite reminder letters. The grace periods are over. We are dealing with an intense situation of debt evasion, where the financial institutions are preparing to take extreme legal action. Let us rewind and look at the actual facts of Sumit's past, because this exclusive theory makes terrifyingly perfect sense when you piece together his history of deception. This is a man who started his entire relationship with Jenny by catfishing her under the fake name Michael Jones. This is a man who secretly married another woman and hid his entire wife from Jenny while she was living in India. Deception is his default setting. So why is it so hard to believe that he would hide a $40,000 financial crater? When he finally got divorced from his first wife, we know it cost an absolute fortune. His family claimed they had to pay $20,000 just to settle the divorce. Did Sumit take out secret, high-interest loans to cover the rest of his lifestyle? Has he been quietly borrowing money from shady lenders just to keep up appearances for the cameras? The timeline lines up perfectly with this massive debt evasion theory. The social media leaks suggest that Sumit's current push to get his visa and move to the United States has absolutely nothing to do with wanting to experience American culture or finally give Jenny her dream life. It is entirely about escaping his creditors. It is about debt evasion in its purest, most desperate form. He knows that if he stays in India, he is going to be held accountable. The collection agencies in India do not play games, and when you are accused of willful debt evasion for an amount as large as $40,000, the consequences can go far beyond just a damaged credit score. He is looking at severe legal repercussions. This brings us to the darkest part of this entire leaked theory. Is Sumit using Jenny as a human shield? Let us really think about his recent behavior. Suddenly, he is so attentive. Suddenly, he is all about supporting Jenny. But the internet is buzzing with the theory that he is using Jenny's advancing age and recent health issues as the ultimate cover story. If Jenny gets sick, or if she needs to return to the United States for medical treatment, what a perfect, sympathetic excuse for Sumit to urgently demand an expedited spousal visa. He can play the role of the devoted, worried husband who simply must rush to America to be by his ailing wife's side. It is the perfect disguise for fleeing the country. By focusing the narrative on Jenny's health, he totally distracts the public, the TLC cameras, and potentially even the authorities from his massive debt evasion. He is essentially turning Jenny into his golden ticket out of a financial prison. Jenny believes she is finally getting the devoted husband who is willing to leave his homeland for her, but in reality, she might just be his getaway driver. Imagine the sheer manipulation required to look your wife in the eye, pretend you are relocating for love, when in reality you are sweating bullets because debt collectors are knocking on your parents' door. This shifts his entire dynamic from a romantic sacrifice to a cowardly escape. He is hiding behind a vulnerable American woman to cross international borders before the hammer drops on his $40,000 secret. But the real question keeping everyone on the edge of their seats is, what is his next move, and will he actually get away with it? The Indian legal system has specific protocols for extreme cases of debt evasion. When a citizen owes a massive amount of money to financial institutions and shows clear signs of a flight risk, the banks can petition the government to intervene. The most immediate and devastating action they can take is to freeze his passport. Just picture that scenario. Sumit and Jenny, bags packed, TLC cameras rolling, tearful goodbyes at the airport. They walk up to the immigration counter, hand over their documents, and suddenly the agent's screen flashes red. A federal hold due to severe financial delinquency and debt evasion. His passport gets confiscated right there at the terminal, and he is barred from boarding the flight to America. This TikTok and Instagram-sourced theory suggests that Sumit is racing against the clock. Every single day he spends in India is a day the banks get closer to locking down his travel rights. He needs that visa approved yesterday. He needs Jenny to look as dependent on him as possible so that he can fast-track his paperwork through the U.S. Embassy. He is playing a very dangerous game of international roulette, gambling that he can slip through the airport security gates before the paperwork officially catches up to him. If this leak is true, and the evidence pointing to this massive debt evasion is growing stronger every day across reality TV forums, it explains all the weird inconsistencies in his recent storyline. Why he is suddenly so dismissive of his family's concerns, why he is pushing for things he previously dragged his feet on. The $40,000 debt is the missing puzzle piece that connects all of Sumit's bizarre choices. He is not a man standing up to his traditional parents. He is a man desperately trying to outrun a financial avalanche. And Jenny, sweet, trusting Jenny, has absolutely no idea that she is legally binding herself to a man who might be fleeing from the law. If they make it to America, what happens then? Does that $40,000 debt just magically disappear? No. Debt evasion follows you. International collection agencies exist, and if Sumit thinks he can just cross an ocean and wipe his slate clean, he is in for a rude awakening. Worse yet, he could be dragging Jenny into a legal nightmare where her own assets and retirement funds are suddenly scrutinized because of her husband's shady financial past in India. We are watching a slow-motion car crash. The anxiety, the rushing, the sudden shifts in his attitude towards moving to the United States, it is all rooted in fear. The fear of being exposed, the fear of the overdue bank notices turning into a knock on the door from local authorities, and the fear of his ultimate plan collapsing before he can secure his green card. We are continuing to dig into these exclusive social media theories because the TLC editors are doing everything in their power to hide this from you. They want the fairy tale, but the internet always uncovers the truth. Debt evasion of $40,000 is not a storyline TLC wants to touch, but it is the reality Sumit is living. Let us dig even deeper into exactly how this massive $40,000 debt could have piled up under everyone's noses, because this is where the TikTok and Instagram sleuths have really hit the jackpot. For years, viewers have questioned how Sumit and Jenny were surviving financially in India. We saw Jenny struggling with her pension and Social Security, calculating every penny just to afford their rent and groceries. Sumit, on the other hand, never seemed to hold down a stable, full-time job after he quit his initial call center gig. He dabbled in a friend's food business, which conveniently went absolutely nowhere, and he always seemed to have an excuse ready for why he was not bringing in a solid, consistent income. The math never added up, and now, thanks to these exclusive social platform leaks, we finally have the terrifying equation. The leading theory is that Sumit has been floating their entire reality television lifestyle on borrowed money. We are talking about taking out multiple personal loans, maxing out secret credit lines, and potentially even borrowing from private, unregulated lenders who are now aggressively demanding their cash back. When you factor in the $20,000 he allegedly had to pay his ex-wife's family for their divorce settlement, it is entirely plausible and highly likely that he took out high-interest loans just to cover that staggering upfront cost. Instead of paying it back over time, he just kept borrowing more to keep up appearances, digging a $40,000 grave of debt evasion that he can no longer climb out of. The pressure from these financial institutions is not like missing a payment on a simple department store credit card here in the United States. In India, the collection process for extreme debt evasion can be incredibly brutal and unrelenting. We are talking about aggressive recovery agents showing up unannounced at your door, public shaming tactics in your local neighborhood, and intense legal harassment that can completely tear a family apart. Could this be the real, hidden reason his parents, Sadhna and Anil, are constantly so stressed and furious on camera? TLC always paints them as just strict traditional parents who hate Jenny solely because of her age. But what if their extreme anger is actually rooted in the fact that their son has brought massive financial ruin and dangerous debt collectors right to their front door? What if they are the ones fielding the threatening phone calls and dealing with the severe daily fallout of his $40,000 secret? It completely reframes every single argument we have ever seen them have in their living room. When Sadhna is crying and screaming, it might not be about broken tradition at all. It might be the sheer terror of knowing her son is facing federal consequences for willful debt evasion. Now, let us bring Jenny back into this twisted equation, because her role in this alleged escape plan makes the whole situation so much more sinister. Jenny gave up absolutely everything to be with Sumit. She sold her belongings, she drained her retirement accounts, and she alienated her own family just to move to a foreign country for this man. She is completely isolated, making her the perfect vulnerable target. If Sumit is truly using her as a human shield to orchestrate his escape to America, he is committing the ultimate emotional and financial betrayal. According to the exclusive theories swirling around social media, Sumit's sudden obsession with getting a green card is a calculated maneuver to transfer his massive financial burdens directly onto Jenny's shoulders. Think about the strict United States immigration process. To bring Sumit to America, Jenny has to act as his financial sponsor, or she has to find a joint sponsor if her income is not high enough. This means the United States government will require someone to be legally and financially responsible for him once he crosses the border. If he is already a master of debt evasion in his home country, what is stopping him from racking up brand new debts in America and leaving Jenny entirely on the hook? She is blindly signing legally binding documents for a man who is allegedly running from a $40,000 financial disaster. And if the Indian authorities do manage to catch up with him, or if international debt collectors decide to pursue him overseas, Jenny's remaining assets, her credit score, and her entire livelihood could be seized or destroyed in the crossfire. She truly thinks she is bringing her devoted husband home to live happily ever after, but she might actually be importing a massive, ticking legal liability. We also have to talk about how TLC and the show's producers are handling this, or rather, completely covering it up. Reality television is built on intense drama, so why wouldn't they want to expose a massive $40,000 scandal? The answer is simple. The network has invested years of premium airtime into selling Sumit and Jenny as the ultimate underdog love story. They are supposed to be the couple that fought against all odds, the couple that defied culture and extreme age gaps for true love. If the producers suddenly reveal that Sumit is nothing more than a manipulative scammer attempting a high-stakes game of international debt evasion, it ruins the entire narrative they have built for seasons. It makes the show look terrible for not vetting their cast members properly, and it turns a romantic, quirky storyline into a grim true crime documentary. So they creatively edit around it. They focus on Jenny's health issues, they focus on petty, scripted arguments about cooking and cleaning, and they completely ignore the massive financial elephant in the room. But the internet never sleeps, and the reality TV community is way too smart to be fooled by clever editing tricks. The TikTok videos and Instagram deep dives are providing the actual receipts that TLC outright refuses to show us. Fans are meticulously analyzing timelines, cross-referencing his alleged divorce payments, and highlighting his desperate, anxious body language every single time the topic of moving to America comes up. When you look closely, it is not the excitement of starting a new life. It is the frantic panic of a fugitive looking for an immediate exit strategy. If you watch the most recent episodes armed with this leaked knowledge about his secret loan, every single interaction takes on a dark, manipulative tone. When he comforts Jenny, he is not comforting his wife. He is desperately securing his alibi. When he talks about their future together in America, he is not dreaming. He is plotting. He absolutely needs her to remain completely oblivious to the $40,000 storm brewing right behind her back, because the moment she finds out the actual truth about his severe debt evasion, his entire escape plan crumbles to the ground. Will Jenny's family step in before it is too late? Will her daughter, who has always been highly suspicious of Sumit's true intentions, uncover this financial bombshell and stop the spousal visa process in its tracks? Let us talk about the one person who could actually blow this entire operation wide open before Sumit ever steps foot on American soil. Jenny's daughter, Christina, has always had a highly calibrated radar for Sumit's nonsense. From the very beginning, she has flown across the world to confront him. She has demanded to see the divorce papers, and she has consistently questioned his ability to properly care for her aging mother. If Christina gets even the slightest wind of this massive $40,000 secret loan, it is game over for Sumit. The reality television forums are already buzzing with speculation that fans are actively trying to send these viral TikToks and Instagram posts directly to Christina's social media accounts. Imagine the absolute explosion if Jenny's own daughter discovers that the man preparing to move into her mother's house is actually a fugitive orchestrating a highly illegal campaign of debt evasion. Christina would not hesitate for a single second to contact the United States immigration authorities and have her own mother's sponsorship petition canceled. She would pull the plug on the entire spousal visa process the moment she realizes her mother is being used as a completely unwitting pawn in an international financial scam. Sumit's greatest fear might not even be the Indian banking authorities. His greatest fear is an angry American daughter armed with the truth about his severe debt evasion. But let us picture the worst-case scenario, where nobody warns Jenny and the TLC producers successfully keep this financial bombshell buried. Let us envision the exact, nail-biting moment Sumit actually tries to execute his grand escape. He and Jenny arrive at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi. The camera crew is capturing every single emotional second. Jenny is crying tears of joy because she finally believes her 10-year fight for this man is culminating in their happy ending. But Sumit is sweating profusely. He is pacing. Every time a security guard walks by, his heart stops. When he finally approaches the immigration counter, that is the moment of truth. Because I got this video from TikTok, Instagram, or another social platform source, we know that the Indian legal system updates their federal exit control lists in real time. If those collection agencies have successfully filed a high court petition regarding his $40,000 debt evasion, his passport number is already red flagged in the system. The immigration officer will scan his document, look up at him, and immediately summon the local police. In front of the entire world and in front of a completely devastated Jenny, Sumit would be handcuffed and detained right at the departure gate, his carefully constructed house of cards entirely collapsing under the weight of his own financial crimes. Even if, by some miraculous stroke of luck, he actually manages to board that airplane and slip past the authorities, his life in America is not going to be the glamorous reality television dream he is anticipating. You cannot just run away from $40,000 of debt evasion and expect to live peacefully in the suburbs. We live in a globally connected financial era. International debt collection agencies are absolutely ruthless, and they specialize in tracking down individuals who think crossing an ocean grants them sudden financial immunity. The moment Sumit applies for a social security number in the United States, the moment he tries to open a joint bank account with Jenny, or the moment he attempts to get an American driver's license, his global financial footprint will be pinged. Those Indian banks will eventually find him, and they will pursue legal judgments against him in American courts. The sheer panic of knowing that the knock on the door could be an overseas process server would consume his every waking moment. And who suffers the most in this scenario? Jenny. Jenny is the one who will be answering the phone when the international debt collectors start calling her American phone number at all hours of the night. Jenny is the one whose peaceful retirement will be entirely shattered when she realizes she imported a massive legal liability into her own home. She sacrificed her life savings, her relationship with her children, and her golden years for a man who looked her directly in the eyes and lied about $40,000. If this exclusive social media theory is proven true, it elevates Sumit from a confused, culturally conflicted man to one of the most calculated and cold-hearted manipulators in the entire history of the 90-Day franchise. He is systematically using a senior citizen's love and deteriorating health as a literal shield to protect himself from the severe legal consequences of his own reckless spending and debt evasion. This is exactly why we cannot trust the highly polished, heavily edited fairy tale that TLC is broadcasting on our television screens every week. They want you to feel sorry for Sumit. They want you to believe that he is just a victim of circumstance, trapped between his overbearing parents and his true love. But the internet sleuths are doing the real investigative work. I got this video from TikTok, Instagram, or another social platform source, and the evidence of this $40,000 secret loan is becoming entirely impossible to ignore. The timeline of his divorce payments, his refusal to work a normal job, his sudden, frantic desperation to leave India, and his sudden hyper-focus on Jenny's medical needs, it all points to a man who is running out of time and running out of options. Debt evasion is the dark, silent undertone driving every single action he takes on camera. We are witnessing a masterclass in deception, and the clock is ticking down to a spectacular, unavoidable disaster. Either the Indian government freezes his passport, the international debt collectors catch him in America, or Jenny's family finally exposes the absolute truth and shuts down his visa. Whatever happens, the fallout is going to be biblical, and it will permanently alter the legacy of this reality television couple. What do you guys think? Is Sumit a complete mastermind using Jenny as his ultimate getaway vehicle? Or do you think his $40,000 debt evasion is going to finally catch up to him before he ever leaves the airport? I need you to drop your wildest theories down in the comments section below, because I read every single one of them. If you were shocked by this massive financial bombshell, do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you are the very first to know when the next massive reality television scandal drops. Until next time, stay sharp, trust no one on reality TV, and I will see you in the next video.